is 6:32. I'd like to call a meeting to order. I would like to announce the members of the committee that are here. Harry Seckman, Chairman.
Daniel
Mike
Gracie,
Ferguson.
member.
Daniel Gracie. Mike.
Mike Ferguson.
Okay. Absent currently are, at the start of the meeting, are Joseph Becker and Mitch Russidi. Okay. Got the minutes here. Let me just get these out of the way first. Have you had a chance to read them, Dan?
I did.
Okay.
They look good to me.
All right.
Are we officially called to order?
We are officially called to order. 6:32.
Okay.
Okay. Minutes look good to me. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second them.
Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none. Do I have an aye for acceptance of the meeting, of the minutes, please?
Aye, Mike Ferguson.
Daniel Gracie, aye.
And Harry Seckman, aye. Okay. All right. Before we get into discussion of the submissions, why don't I let Ron, if it's okay with the committee, go first and give us an update.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. Just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on where we are with the facility management plan process that we're going to be going through. As you know, we got a $40,000 state grant under what's called the Community Compact grant that's kind of orchestrated by the governor and lieutenant governor to do a facility management plan. It was put out for a request for quotes for a couple of weeks. We opened up the process for anyone who wanted to give us a quote to go through each and every town building. Joe Buckley took one company through a tour of all the different buildings, the only one that showed up. The company is called Hassett Financial Associates. I'm not surprised that they're the only one because most engineering companies that you put this out to feel the job is too small and not worth their time. So I'm not surprised that we didn't get a lot of people to give us quotes on it. I am extremely happy that Hassett did give us a quote. I opened the bid. Any bids that were supposed to be turned in by today at 12 o'clock. Only one firm, Hassett Financial, put in a bid. It was a bid of $36,500, which is under the $40,000 grant that we're getting. This is the same company that, frankly, I've dealt with for the last 6 years. They a facility management plan for the town of Hanson, and they did 2 facility management plans, one for the town and one for the school system for the town of Southbridge. They do an excellent job, so I'm kind of excited to see the product for our town. The next step will be bringing, they're going to be giving me a contract for us to evaluate and potentially change. He told me he would have it for us on Monday. It's my intention to bring it to the next Board of Selectmen meeting for approval. Once that's done, they can begin the process of coming in and evaluating each of the town buildings. The plan that will be developed will be a 10-year plan for the needs of each individual building. When I get that plan, at some point, we will put that plan into the current 5-year capital plan you have. So it probably will be next year when we update the capital improvement plan. We'll put a section in each of the departments that have buildings. So fire department and library and all those will be a section at the end of their 5-year capital plan that says facility management plan, library, and it will have a description, at least for the 5 years, of what the capital needs for the library is. I want to be clear that this is not what you call a deep dive. In other words, if there's an elevator, they don't analyze the engineering of the elevator. They look at the elevator is 6 years old, has a useful life of 20 years. 14 years from now, we're going to have to replace it. And here's a high level estimate upon what that would cost. So they're looking at all the building, but they're looking at it in terms of, you know, uh, not, looking and understanding everything that's going on with the HVAC system. They're not engineers. They're basically looking at the long-term life of different things they're building and providing estimates. They will take pictures, so you'll see if the shingles of a roof are coming off, you'll see pictures of that. If there's cracks in the masonry, you'll see all of that. So pretty heavy outline of each building, the age of the building, what the building's needs are, and in a pretty thorough process of what the long-term plan will be in terms of the building. Um, so I think you'll find it to be very good. If you wanted to see one, I don't know if I gave you the link, but if you go on the Southbridge, Massachusetts homepage and you go in their bulletin, if you kind of scroll your way down through that bulletin, you'll see a facilities management plan you can look at to show you what it's going to look like. The concept is to have that plan done, uh, middle of summer kind of process. I'll put that facility management plan online so everybody can look at it. You guys will all be able to, look on your computers and see what the plan says. And then, like I say, we'll have to add that to the 5-year capital plan you have. Like I say, probably next year we'll put it all in. Over the long term, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, a few years out to also do the schools, at least the schools that are in the town building, in the town of Rutland, because we are responsible for those as well. But that's the kind of the current status. My big fear, quite frankly, is having the free cash to actually do the work that we need to do. I was shocked yesterday, and you'll hear more about this. The school sent me their proposed budget assessment for this year. I tried to explain to them last year their increase was $679,000. And I made a big point of explaining to them that this year's increase couldn't be that high. You can't take all of the proposed levy money for the schools. You have to leave money for the town as well. And we had a deficit situation last year of $205,000. So my comment to them, and I pushed really hard and worked with other towns to try to get them to give us a lower assessment this year. I was shocked and, I don't know the way to say it, disgusted by the assessment that they gave me. As I said, it was $679,000 last year over the year before. The fiscal year 22 budget, the assessment is over $960,000 over last year's numbers. Now, to understand how bad that is for the town, our full tax levy increase because of Proposition 2.5 is like $733,000. So if you were to fund the 960, it would use every dollar we had in increased tax levy, any potential free cash we'd have, and there wouldn't be $1 to fund the rest of the town budget, to give any increases for anything. It's ludicrous and it's undoable. It's just, there's no way we can balance the budget. So I think
Hey,
it's going
Ron,
to shape up to be a difficult budget year with the current situation with the proposed school numbers. Yep.
of that 960, there's what, three or four, probably four different components of the assessment of that 960 increase. I'm sure obviously a piece of it is net minimum, a piece is transportation, a piece is debt. What is the piece of that 960, that's the over net minimum contribution that the towns kind of voluntarily contribute?
So I haven't looked at the net minimum. Matter of fact, I was talking to Mitch, and he was going to check with Desi and find out what that minimum was. That was the proposed total assessment that they gave me.
Mm.
They gave me 2 slides. The first slide was a slide that showed the increases in the various major components. So salaries was one line, health and benefits was another line, transportation. So they gave me one page that outlined the expenditures and another line of the assessments for the various towns. I have been working with all the other town managers, administrators in the school district. The town of Holden told the school district, please, you can't make it more than $1 million over last year. Peter Lukes was more than shocked when the assessment for Holden went up by $2.3 million. So it's just ludicrous what's going on here. But I can't tell you what the difference is between the minimum education requirement number and what their total budget number. The budget went up in total about $3.8 million was the increase in the dollar amount. But Rutland's, the 960 something represents about a say somewhere around 7.3% increase because the population of the district in terms of what kids go to what schools or to what towns, from what towns, we didn't go down by as much as other towns. The entire school population went down by like 400 kids. So, a couple of interesting points about that. School district goes down by loses almost 400 kids, yet they want to hire additional staff, and the budget goes up by $3.8 million. I'm not sure how that works, but that's the numbers right now.
Yeah, I'd be really interested because at the end of the day, the only number that any of the towns can really debate is the amount over net minimum. So it'd be really interesting to know what that component is because everything else is kind of non-debatable.
Yeah, but even the number, I mean, you're correct that we can argue about that because we have to give them the minimum, right? But what's sad and what's I guess the history of the town, and again I'm a newcomer, is they go to town meeting, they load up town meeting with teachers and school people, and they simply vote for that number, whatever the schools want, and then the town kind of left there hanging. So you're correct from a state perspective, all we have to give them is the minimum, but it really comes down to town meeting and if they have the power and the votes at town meeting to get what they want. Town
Yes.
meeting is going to have to recognize that if they do, they're going to devastate the town side of government.
Yeah, yeah, but you and it sounds like you're headed down this road already, which is great because we've had years like this in the past that have been extremely painful in that number that's been proposed.
Mhm.
And after that initial budget proposal came out, a lot like this year, where it sounds like it's more than just one town that has a real struggle with that number. This year, it sounds like you got Holden and Paxton and Rutland that are going to be in real trouble spots. Those three towns basically got to come together and determine what the target number is and present that formally to the district for the district to work towards that number because they need 3 out of 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5, right? 4 out of 5.
No, 2 out of 5 can vote it down and force it to
Right.
a referendum.
So it just sounds like we got to figure out what that magic number is that most of the towns can live with.
Well, the good news is this. The good news is that Holden normally supports what the district wants. Peter and the Board of Selectmen in Holden are outraged.
Good.
They're already lining up their people to talk at the March 8th budget meeting of the school committee. So it's good that Holden, usually I'm told it's Paxton and Rutland, they're the ones fighting, but Holden is going to be on our side to push hard in this process too. So that's the good news of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the citizens of the town are going to have to understand if they approve that school number, what the impact is going to be on town government because it's going to be ugly.
Ron?
It has to be. So,
Ron, do you know what the overall increase percentage is for the whole district?
it's about 3.8% for the whole district, but that results in like a 7.3% increase for Rutland.
Right, but because I'm looking back in other years and almost consistently, I don't care whether it was inflation or whatever it was, the Wachusett has gone up about 5% a year. I mean, that's pretty consistent across the board. There's some
Anywhere from about 3.8 to 1 year they got, it was really, really high. It was like over $1 million increase. But
Mhm.
but I think the lowest thing over the last 4 years has been like about 3.9%, 3.8, but it's normally over 4%.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that when it comes out because I'm looking here and we don't have inflation. Costs really haven't been going up that much except for a few items. So I'm trying to figure out how they justify raising our portion over $1 million. I just don't get it.
Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'm just going to kind of give you estimates. So their salary line went up by like 2.7 or 2.8%, something like that. The
Okay,
big increases that they're talking about is healthcare numbers that went up. Healthcare and the contribution to the retirement system went up by like 9 and 10% respectively. So
okay,
those are two of their bigger numbers. But part of their the biggest line item obviously is the payroll and the health benefits. how you could be adding employees in a year when you lose 400 students
Yeah,
boggles my mind, to be honest with you, but that's what they're
Or
proposing.
30,
Um, I'm sorry, Mitch?
430 students.
Yeah, 430 students they've lost. Hey, Mitch, did you get, and I don't want to, this isn't the purpose of this meeting, but do you end up getting a minimum education number today?
No, I haven't been able to. I've been knee deep in federal grants, but I got to spend some time going through it. It's some of the numbers that were included in the PowerPoint. I think we need a more detailed breakout of some of that, because some of those numbers, to your point, don't make a whole lot of sense. Rutland, for example, is on a 10-year trajectory downward in terms of enrollment. So I just want to see a more detailed breakout. And then obviously the MLC number is something we need as well. But
The only town that has an increased school population, I think, is Holden. But the other towns are actually decreasing in numbers. I really said, and I got to be careful because, like I said, I've only been here 4 months, but this is a year where I think that the town has to come together. Even the town employees have to come together because the impact is going to be so bad on the town. I don't know why the school district should get everything, and the town employees get killed in this process, and departments get killed in this process. So
right.
there's got to be a more balanced town meeting that allows for this discussion than what I've heard has happened in the past.
Mitch, maybe you can help me. Does this stuff go through the school committee? Do they approve or disapprove of the budget?
Well, yeah, I mean, the budget gets presented to the school committee. Like, ideally, the school committee is in control of the budget. But what usually happens is they set priorities, my understanding, and then Daryl and his team put together a budget that they present to them. They go through it, and the school committee will either like it or not. I mean, Joe, is that kind of your experience too, and how that process works?
Yeah, actually, March 8th is the date that the school committee will be doing their final review of the process. So I sent a letter to the Board of Selectmen today and the Finance Committee members that they need to attend that meeting and voice their concerns. But quite frankly, I think everybody in town should be calling in that number to voice their concerns. So March 8th, I don't know the time of it yet, but that's when the school committee will be making a last review and perhaps a vote as to fix the actual number. In theory, they can increase the number.
Yeah, they could. And I would suggest another thing too. And I obviously, we only got whatever it is, 4 members in a 20-member committee, but I think it would be worthwhile for the town to communicate either through memo or whatever to each of our 4 school committee members that need to vote in that budget hearing, and convey the concern of, what the increase versus the increased revenue sources and what that delta is and the impacts, at a very high level, what that'll have in the town just before they make their vote.
So the answer to that question is I already did it.
Okay.
I held a Zoom meeting with those 4 members.
Great.
Prior to the actual assessment coming out, explained to them the tax levy, told them what the impact would be and how bad it would be prior to the number coming out the other day. So, I may email them again and send the email I sent to the Board of Selectmen, send to them as well tomorrow, because I didn't, at that time I didn't have the tax assessment number. So once they see it, I don't know how you can justify it when our levy's 733. How do you justify an assessment of 960 something? There's just no logical way you can make that work.
And I think the other thing, and this is why that MLC number and the other 3 numbers versus the amount over required spending is such a critical number, because if the MLC number of that 960 is a small percentage of that overall increase, the case becomes even larger or better to make for the towns that, you're already, the bulk of this increase is spending over what the state says you have to spend on education. Right.
And we will be working on that over the next couple of days to lock down those numbers.
I've heard a few numbers that have floated around in regard to that number. I haven't firmed them up yet, but based on what I've heard, it is far exceeding that MLC number. Mm-hmm. I know that Paxton too, I think Carol had sent a letter. I mean, they just had an override that passed 2 years ago for this exact reason, the education funding. And I can't imagine being a resident and receiving 2 overrides in 3 years. I mean, one, it's hard to get past, and 2, it's not fathomable. I mean, Hopedale just tried to put one through a few months ago, and it got crushed, and they had to make $700,000 for cuts to their municipal budget. And we're in a tough spot.
To that
Yeah.
point, Mitch, the town administrator, I think the town administrator already sent a letter to Daryl saying just that. You know, we just had an override. We can't do another override. It was just 2 years ago. This is a crazy number as well. So far, three of the town manager, Holden, myself, and what town is that? That was Paxton?
Access.
Paxton, I think. All three of us sent letters so far to the school district, letting them know our concerns. And when we did that, we had all five, because I've been regularly talking to all five town administrators. All five were on that email, so they know that the five towns are trying to work together on this issue. And I don't think that's ever really happened like it has, before, where we are trying together to do this. So.
You know what I feel sad about is that what you're doing now is the school is really pitting the school deliberately against the towns.
Yep.
I think that's such a shame that
And-
they are, because there's no way, and they got to know that, there's no way that the towns can afford that kind of an increase. The state can't even give them the money they need. So how do the local towns do that?
Well, the state assessment, Harry, the state money went down by 900 and something $1,000, almost $1 million.
That's what I
The reason
mean.
it went down is because the number of students went down. So if
Well,
the state is saying we're giving you less money because the students went down, how could they then take that extra money and charge it to the towns, even though the number of students went down, right?
Well, I think I asked that same question, and we did at the roundtable that we had a few weeks ago, Ron. And the verbatim response from Chairwoman Meeks at the time, who has since resigned, was, "Well, if you want your kids to have a good education, you have to pay for it." So that was the response we got from the school committee at the time.
So just to be
From
clear,
our
what I
school
am talking about,
committee? From our school committee?
No, not our delegation.
Oh.
The chair of the school committee.
Okay.
guys, just to understand why I brought this up is because my expectation hopefully was that we could eventually have some free cash, that we could fix the town budget, take the money we're using for operating expenses and take it out of the budget and use that free cash for capital items. But if this school budget goes forward, that there will be no free cash, because every dollar of free cash will be being utilized to somehow fund the operating budget of the school system. So, I mean, this could really have devastating effect across all the town departments, and in fact, any capital items that we could try to purchase in the future. So, I just that's going to have an impact on what we're trying to do on the capital side as well. With that, I'm done with my, I didn't intend to go into school issues that much, but I want to thank you guys for giving me the time. When we get the facility management plan, once we start seeing that product, as soon as that's done, we'll be getting that plan to you guys so you'll be able to see it, okay?
Thank you.
Ron, I got a question for you. If the town is in that dire straits, and if we do have to put 900,000 out, what does that mean for the capital? What does that mean for CIPC?
Like
Are
I
we
said,
spinning our
won't be
wheels
any
here this
free
year?
cash left if we do that. The towns, listen, if the townspeople vote this education money through, then we will be talking about serious layoffs in town government. Forget about capital stuff. We'll be looking at potentially eliminating police officers, firemen, all kinds of stuff, because we won't have any money to fund the positions, right?
Yeah.
The unions on the town side still have their contracts, the union contracts. We still have contractual obligations we have to fund. If we have zero money, we've got to find cuts to make up for that. And right now, I mean, it's with Dan, the town accountant right now, but I could see this being a $400,000 to $600,000 deficit if that school number went through. So I don't know how you make up that kind of money, to be honest with you, Harry. But
Yeah,
I
you get rid of
gotta
two.
there.
You get rid of two and a half. Prop 2.5.
That'd be a good thing. And I don't listen. If the townspeople,
I don't think it would be, not in Massachusetts.
But if the townspeople want to vote an override and pay for the school system at that rate, that's fine.
No,
But
I
everybody
can't-
should have a vote in that. It
No.
should be at the cost of town government. It
That
should
should be an option, and I think we just have to do our due diligence as a committee and kind of put things forward. But I mean, we knew going into COVID, as of last year, that because of the way things were unfolding, both on the revenue side and some of these other issues, that we're going to be in a tough, next year could be even worse, right, in terms of the money. So I don't, we just have to move forward, and hopefully that number can work its way down. I really can't imagine having to ask to put an override in front of our citizens, considering what these families have been through and what the economic sphere looks like and has looked like over the last 12 months. And that's not an option that I even want to talk about right now, because I don't think we should be entertaining it. It's just not feasible.
Okay.
It's not fair. So
Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions for where are we here? Yeah, for Ron, anything? No? All right, Ron, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, Mitch, yeah, I think, right, we're gonna move. We know what's before us. We know what's needed in the town. We'll do our best, but not looking good to keep this town going,
I think that's why, in some ways, it makes what we're doing more important, because the scoring plays all of that more important role. Because if we have such a limited amount, if any, money to spend, we just have to make sure that it's the best decision for that year, given the fact that a lot of these things are not going to be able to be funded. So,
yeah, okay. Joe, do you have your list of items ready there on your computer?
I do.
Okay. I sent some stuff out later today. I sent some stuff out. Did you get it, Joe, Mitch? I sent some things that Joe Buckley had sent over as some follow-up stuff, because there were some things that we needed on our document paper, and he didn't have it then. So did you get that?
I got an email, Harry, but I have not had the chance to look at the documentation in the email.
Okay. Well, you know what?
I got it and looked it over. It's a lot of the quotes that Joe promised us,
Right.
or some of his items.
Right. So, you know what? It's kind of involved. It's a lot of stuff here. He's got quotes for the van and everything else, but I guess, Joe, what I'd like you to do is since you have the list of everything, maybe we should go down the list and have you do it, and then do a rating on those items that we have the information for.
All right. We probably should all have a view of the document that we rate against, right? That has the explanation and the range of ratings. Does
Right.
anyone have?
Does everybody have that?
I gotta pull mine out.
I'll have to go look for it.
I mean, if you want, I could email it to you right now if you need it. I can pull that up and email it to you. Exit full screen. Where are we here? Here. Let's see. Nope, sorry. Back one. Cap improvement. Request info. Let's see if I have it here. No, that's not it. Where the heck did I put it? Capital equipment. No, maybe I can't find it here. No, that's not going to be it. Okay. You know what? I can't find it right now, guys.
I'm having trouble finding it myself. You mean the rating sheet? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, the rating sheet. Yep.
I know I have it, but I can't remember what I called it. Rating sheet.
All right, I found a hard copy. Unfortunately, I don't have a electronic copy.
Shoot. Okay. Let's try this again. Let me try it this way. Capital improvement. Capital asset listing. Here we go. Let's see if this is it. Come on, will you open up? Nope, didn't open up. Capital improvement. Where did I have
Did you find it, Harry? I can try to scan this.
it? Yeah, oh, hold on, wrong place. Yeah, I did see it. All right, capital improvement. Okay. Request forms. No, that's not it. Let me go back. Statement, capital rooms, class law changes. 16 handbook. Okay. Policy. Form. I'm going to try this one. No, not seeing it there. No. Okay. Project. Let me see if this is there. No. No, I'm not seeing it here, Joe. Oh, come on. Line Form 1. No, I'm not seeing it here. You want to read this stuff off to us, Joe? And I think we can get, the first one, we can probably just jot a few notes down. If you want to do that.
Okay.
Start with the first one.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm trying to.
Where is it? Did you find yours, Mike?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I think in one of my folders I have hard copy, but
Yeah.
I could have sworn I had it on my hard drive here and I'm not finding it. I've opened half a dozen things that I thought might have been it.
Okay. Why is that thing so hard for me to find? Okay, I found a hard copy for me. Okay. What we start off with is the town department priority classification. Mandatory is 10, maintenance is 7, improve efficiency is 5, and new service is 2.
Yeah, so it's basically one mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, or new service, and then we can align the points based on
Yeah.
the outcome. So the first item on our list is DPW new plows, and this was, according to Joe, his number 2 priority out of the ones he submitted.
Yeah.
It's $15,000. It covers 2 plows, one large one and one small one.
Okay.
That's one of the things he gave us a quote for today, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's on that list. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I think it's page 2. Looks like an 11-foot reversing plow
Right.
with trio edge. So that must be one of the plows, because I think the request was for 2.
Yeah, that's 10 grand plus.
Yeah, what I'm not seeing is the second plow though.
Well, if he wants 2, it's 20 grand rather than the 15.
Well, no, they were different plows.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, one was a small plow and one was a larger plow. I'm guessing the 11-foot, that's on the large end. I wouldn't classify that as a small plow.
Yeah, I got one here. Looks like the price is on his new paperwork, $10,474.
That's for the one plow, the quote that he had there.
Right.
It doesn't say, he doesn't have a sheet drawn up for the second plow, I guess.
No, I don't see that either. He just has this one.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can revise the request to align with that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 10,474. It's one 11-foot plow. All right, so town department priority classification. I'm thinking this falls into maintenance. The options are mandatory. It's not mandatory. Maintenance, improvement of efficiency, or new service. So I'm thinking this is most logically maintenance.
Yeah, I don't know how you can improve efficiency when you're just replacing a same like item.
And what does that carry for a weight?
Maintenance aligns with 7 points.
All right.
Does everybody agree or have questions on that?
Agree.
Okay.
Agree.
All
All
right.
right. So second one is priority. I don't know that we used this one last year. Priority ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. Sure.
Okay, so priority ranking, very high, high, medium, or low. So out of Joe's priority ranking, out of whatever the 5 or 6 overall requests he submitted, this was his number 2.
Okay.
So high?
That's where I would think it would be.
Yeah.
And what weight does that carry?
7.
That's a 7 also.
So projects, the next one is Oh, hang on. I want to make sure I'm doing this right.
Did you get the number one for Joe on Public Works? The 2000 International 5-ton dump truck for 50,000? Didn't he already get that? Or
He
we
wanted another one in 22, didn't he?
Yeah, then another one next year.
Yeah.
He doesn't have down here when he has it, what's it requested for? Or
So
what?
why don't can we stick with the plow?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's finish it.
Sorry, Joe. Yep.
I just got to realign it. I mistyped in a column. Sorry. Let me get back on track here. I don't want to screw up our score. Life expectancy. We haven't done yet. We might have more than one form that we've used in the past because these aren't lining up, which is what's confusing me.
Huh. We haven't, I don't think we've changed the form for about 3 or 4 years, Joe.
And
So-
we've been using the same one every year that I remember.
Well, at one point, we didn't have F on there. We added that on there. Availability of state, federal grant money. I know that. I don't know how long ago, but that's the one we've been using, so. All right.
I'm getting there. Hang on. I'm adapting the spreadsheet to the form that we're using here because we had different classifications last year.
Oh, okay.
So priority classification we put in as 7. Priority ranking we put in as 7. Life expectancy. His file says it is. Does that say plus or minus 30 years? No, that's the current one.
Yeah. 25 to 30 unknown he has down there too for the age of it. So I can't, Mike, maybe you can shed a little on us. I can't imagine getting 20 years or 15 years out of a plow. Considering how
I'm not 100% sure. If I was going to make a shot in the dark, I'd say 15.
Yeah.
He was hoping to get 15 out of the used dump trucks, the new
Right.
used dump truck, and with the same plow on it and everything. That if he's buying it new, he might get more than that. He might get 20.
Yeah, I mean the current one, the one he's replacing is 25 to 30 years old.
Right.
Right. He's buying 5-year-old trucks with blades on them.
Well, no, this is
hoping to get 15 out of it. So I would say a new one would be 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. So the range is 1, 20 or more years, 16 to 19 years, 11 to 15, or 4 to 10. I'm thinking this falls into 1, 20 or more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. That's a 10 rating.
All right. The next one is effect on operating and maintenance costs. 1, dramatic reduction. 2, reduced costs. 3, cost unchanged. 4, increased cost. So
I would think 3.
I agree with you. So that's 5. That's 5 points.
Yeah.
And that's all we rate them on?
Nope. Effect on town revenue or tax base. Increases revenue, revenue unchanged, decreases revenue. I think it's unchanged.
Unchanged, yeah.
So that's 2, which correlates to 6 points.
Okay.
And then the last question is availability of grants, and that answer is no.
No, that's 0.
And there's a rating of 35. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
All
Did
right.
we
So,
want to do that dump truck then? We had rated that last year, and I don't have that rating in front of me that we came
got
up
it.
with.
I got it. So the international dump truck, this was his #1 priority.
Yeah,
It's replacing a 2000 international. The dump body is rusted. It's probably passed its inspection for the last time.
Yeah, that's what he said.
We have 6 dumps total. 2 of them are used year round. This one, if replaced, would be used in the winter months.
only the winter months, okay.
Yeah. So last year, the dump truck. Gotta find it. I mean, maybe we should rate it and then compare what we came up with last year.
Okay,
Let's do that so we don't skew our rating this year.
right.
So priority ranking: mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, new service.
Maintenance. Same, right?
Yeah. That's 7,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I found out what I was doing wrong.
Well-
The reason I wasn't seeing those first 2 columns when we were doing the plow is because I had it my panes froze and those 2 columns were hidden. Stupid.
Okay.
Now I gotta fix it again because I got 2 extra columns now. Now that I found the 2 that I was missing. You know, I work with spreadsheets all day. You'd think I would have thought of that one.
Yeah. When we get
Okay.
to the library,
Sorry, guys.
that's okay. When we get to the library, I don't know if you saw, I got a comment from Kerry, which I will pass on to you.
All right. So priority ranking: very high, high, medium, low. This was his #1.
gotta be high.
So his priority ranking had to be very high then.
All right.
It has to be the highest of all of his, right?
Yeah.
This is #1. So that would be 7 also then.
No,
Now,
that
keep
would-
in mind, you know, this. I remember having this. We had this discussion last year too. Even though, like on priority ranking, a very high equates to 10, and a high equates to 7. Last year, we did add a little bit of subjectivity in where,
That's right. We split the difference on some.
yeah, if we didn't think it merited a full 10, but higher than a 7, we would put 8 or 9 for the point marking. Just wanted to remind everyone of that.
Okay,
Because I think what we need to do is
That makes sense. Yeah.
we know Joe's priority out of just the DPW requests. It was very high for him, but we're looking at everything. So, you know, I'm not sure, like speaking for myself, I know it's fairly high, but I'm not sure it merits a 10.
That's what I was getting
I have
at. It has to be
emergency
the highest. We have to give the highest of all of his submissions, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be an 8 or a 9.
Right.
Exactly.
yeah,
So you want to make it an 8?
I'd be okay with that. You know, if this was if this truck made a difference in the DPW's functioning, I'd say it would be a 10, but I don't know if it'll make a difference that much to rate
It's
it.
maintaining the status quo. It's replacing one that's dying.
Right. But so, yeah, I go on with an 8 on that for you, Mike. I'm okay with that one. Everybody else?
If I plug in 8, is there any opposition to that?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Projects expected useful life. So 20 or more.
15 years, he said.
Okay, so that's a 3, which equates to 5 points. Effect on O&M, dramatic reduction, reduces cost unchanged, or increased cost.
And unchanged.
Yeah, it's such a minor cost, if you would say it is, because the repairs would be less, but cost unchanged would be fine. Yeah,
All right, effect on revenue,
it's fine.
increased, unchanged, decreased. I think it's unchanged.
Non-changed.
Availability of grants, no. Okay, so I came up with 29,
Okay.
29.
just out of, for information's sake, last
Yep.
year.
Okay, I'm missing one because I got 30. What did I put in wrong?
7, 8, 5, 5, and 6.
I got 7, 8, 5, 5, and 5 on E. You said revenue unchanged, which is 5, right?
Oh, yeah, and I have 3 on that, so that's my mistake.
Okay.
So 31.
I got 30.
So I got 7, 8, 5, 5, 6.
Oh, I got 7, 8, 5, 5, 5. Where do we get 6? On E?
Yeah, revenue unchanged equates to 6.
Okay, got it. So 31. Okay.
What did we get for the first, for the plow?
35. It's
How did
got a
that
longer
happen?
life expectancy. It got some extra points for that.
Yeah, that was a 5-point difference right there, was life expectancy. Five versus 10.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
We good? Sticking with DPW. So we'll go to his number 3 priority, which was the DPW service van, a 2500 van. The current van will not pass inspection.
Yeah, he's got a sheet here. He has 2 vans on here. Both of them the cleaning vans.
But yet he's only got one here listed.
Well, he right, but he sent the request form C that I have. That was filled out 10/30/19 was 2, but he's only requesting 1 there.
Well, there's the paperwork for one,
Huh.
and he's got a quote for it also
All right, then
for one.
we'll consider the 1. Okay.
So 25.
$25,046.
A little cheaper than last year. Okay.
Okay, priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, or new service. I think it's maintenance, right?
I think that would be the one that would qualify. Yeah. Certainly aren't going to improve efficiency. So.
Priority ranking, very high, high, medium, low. So it was his number 3,
Medium.
which would put it at a medium overall for him.
I guess I'd argue for the high on that one, only because they're in such tough shape. I mean, they're using
What about a 6?
Band-Aids to keep it together. So I'd go a little bit higher than just medium.
What about a 6? Put it in between.
Yeah. You okay with that, Dan? 6?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
6.
Projects vehicles expected useful life. Does he show that?
He says the age of the current ones are 15. Estimated useful life in years 15 I have here.
Okay.
Yeah, the current one's 17.
So we'd be giving that a rating of 5 for that then.
10 to 19 years, yeah.
No, 11 to 15.
Or 11 to 15.
Yeah.
But what rating?
5 or
It's a number 5. It's 5 points.
Okay.
yeah. Okay, 5 points.
Projects expected useful. Oh no, we already got that. Effect on O&M, reduction, reduce, unchanged, or increase.
Cost unchanged.
So that's 5. Effect on revenue, increase, unchanged, decrease.
Unchanged.
So that's 6. Availability of grants, no.
No.
I got 29. Everyone agree?
Yep.
You're up to 20, 29. Okay.
All right, 4. It's his number 4 priority was the brush chipper.
Brush chipper.
That was kind of expensive. That was more expensive than I thought it would be.
I'm still trying to find it. There it is.
33,000.
He's got 35 on the sheet that Harry emailed today.
Oh, well, the quote says 33,250. Unless I'm missing something. on
Oh
that
no,
quote.
I see a quote. He has it. Yeah, he has 35 on the write up, but then the quote, the actual quote from the company is 33,250. Yeah, I see that. 33,250. All right, priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, new service.
Maintenance, but
Yeah, it's replacing a 22-year-old machine.
okay.
So maintenance is 7.
7.
Priority ranking, very high, high, medium, low. Joe's internal ranking was 4 out of 5 or 6, I think 5 requests.
4 out of the 5 requests, right?
Explain to me, what was he gonna use? Do you remember what he said he really needed this for? Was it because of ice storms, trying to get one? It's hard to rent or hard to borrow from somebody?
Well, he's replacing the one we
Replacing
got.
when he can't rebuild or repair.
Oh, he can't okay. Okay.
And it's, yeah, ice storms, brush cutting, maintaining rights of ways and easements. And
Okay.
Yeah, the one we have already, the notes I have, it's already been rehabbed once.
Yeah, he doesn't have a trade-in value, no use for the chipper, other than maybe
No.
parts if he gets
No,
one
probably not.
exactly the same.
So, I mean, I wouldn't think it would be any higher than an overall medium.
No.
Right.
I'm thinking even maybe a notch below medium.
I'd go with that, 1 point less.
4.
What's the medium would be 6,
Medium would be 5.
5. You want to give it a 4 then?
I'm good with 4.
Yeah, okay.
Life expectancy, the one he's replacing is 22 years old. So I'd say,
20
He
years.
has 20 down on the sheet, so
all right, so that's 10. 10 points.
Yep.
Effect on operating and maintenance is, I'm sure, unchanged, right?
right.
Which is 5 points. Effect on revenue is unchanged, which is 6.
Yeah.
Availability of grants, no.
Okay.
So I got 32.
Yep.
Agree? All right.
32.
All right. The last one from Joe on DPW is DPW facility repairs. My opinion on this one, unless his most recent documentation has something, is this is the one where it was just kind of a bucket of money to do repairs like rotting doors, but there was no specifics.
He just wrote under review. He didn't give us any breakdown.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we have information to be able to rate this one, is my opinion.
No,
And
I
my
got this.
opinion is that it's probably going to come in under our threshold anyways, because he's going to do a bucket list of little things he needs to do, upgrade doors and locks and maintenance and something like that, he said, which I would think he could do a few things for a few thousand, and then another point, a couple more thousand. All of that wouldn't come under our review.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
he
got the
just
sense he
wants
wasn't
a certain
expecting
amount
any,
of money reserved in his budget for little maintenance things. I'm not sure that should even be presented to us.
yeah, and here again, you know, when you put an even $10,000 down, it could be $99.99. You know,
Right.
so That's,
He could make it 9,000 just to take one extra step out of the process of getting some little maintenance things done.
but you're right, Joe. I agree. I don't think we have the ability to rate that one right now.
Okay, let me just note that. All right, so moving on.
Library?
We've got 2022 requests for water and sewer.
Oh, water and sewer, the pumps.
Yep. So let me
Um,
find the sewer, the water and sewer to stick with. Yeah,
I
okay,
don't
so here's
think
the
we
sewer
have-
department. The sewer department pumps and hoses for field use.
Yeah,
This is the one I have a note that he thinks this is going to fall under $10,000. Do we?
yeah,
Yeah,
a good field pump and good hoses for each division, I don't think would cost $5,000. I think it would be less, and Joe agreed with that when we spoke to him 2 weeks ago.
okay.
So do we want to hold a rating this one until, because I don't see a quote for that stuff in this
I think we agreed at the last meeting that this would be under our threshold. He
okay.
could buy them both for less than $10,000.
So let's postpone that or for discussion at another time.
I think Joe wants to leave some money in his budget as a placeholder, but
Yeah,
it's not necessarily something we're gonna vote on.
yeah. I don't think we should I don't think it should. It's a request, but we don't have any paperwork on it, so we can't do anything about it. Okay.
All right, and the same is true for the water department. There's an identical one for the water department.
Yeah, same thing.
All right, let me note that. All right, what else do we have for DPW? That's all I see for DPW water and sewer.
That's all for 22. Yeah,
Yep, okay.
that's it.
All right, so maybe we just go from the top of the list at this point down. So at the top of the list, I have the animal control, the animal control van.
Yeah,
Oh, what about that? Yeah.
And I think the money seemed really high on this, but am I looking at this right? That was flagged at $60,000.
It was 50, I don't know, was it 50?
I actually have 45,000 on his request here.
Okay, that's what we.
Yeah, and this was the one that was going to be shared by the 4 towns
Yes.
that he was going to request money from. So that the town, and he wanted to put it on a lease.
7-year.
That way the other towns could buy into it easier instead of coming up with all the cash at once.
It goes for Rutland too.
Yeah. So that was going to be a leased vehicle. Rutland's portion of the annual cost would be about $46.75, but that would, he has I guess a rebate or something that offsets that, so our initial cost would be like $1,300. And it was going to be an all-wheel drive. Plus, I guess you'll save money on the gas. Well, here's a unit cost, $47,161, but that was 20, so maybe the prices come down.
Well, we can rate it. So priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, or new service. I think it's maintenance, right?
Boy, that's a tough one for me, Joe.
It's replacing
The
what we
2012.
have. Yeah.
Right, but where's my stuff here? But I'd almost go from maintenance, somewhere between maintenance and mandatory, because if the other towns want us to service it, it's almost like we have to have a proper vehicle to be able to support them because they're paying for it too.
Right.
So it's like you can't have one without the other. So I might go an 8 on that one instead of just a 7.
I'd agree with you on that because we, 4 towns dependent on each other with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8. Everyone in agreement?
Yeah, I can see that rationale.
Okay. Priority ranking: very high, medium, low.
I'd say high for the same reason.
Yeah,
10? 10 high or 9 high?
for this one, I'd almost go with a 10, Joe,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd agree.
because of how we're interconnected.
All right, so life expectancy. So the current one is one of those transit vans, whereas this is a Ford Explorer.
Yeah,
And the current one is a 2012. So 10 years old.
yeah, it's probably what you're gonna get out of it.
So
I don't see.
are we,
Plus, it has over 100,000 miles because it's covering 4 towns. So, and I don't know when they made the arrangement. We might have bought this truck before.
no,
No,
we bought it. Well, we didn't have 4 towns when it was purchased, but we were still regionalized at that point.
Okay,
I think it might have just been 2 towns when it was purchased, Harry, but it was still regionalized.
okay, all right. So I'm thinking if we didn't have all those towns and we have 100,000 miles on it, and now we got 4 towns, I can imagine we're going to get to 100,000 miles a lot quicker on this one. So,
So
10 years, no more than that, I would think.
okay, so that's a 2.
Wow.
Effect on O&M, reduction,
Anything?
unchanged, yeah, 5. Effect on revenue,
Again, that should be unchanged.
yeah. Available grants, yeah. Did we ask them? I don't think the regional. If we didn't ask them, maybe we should have, because a lot of times regionalization efforts, there's grant opportunity, but I don't know if that's the case with this or not.
No, I think I had discussed it with him and it wasn't,
Okay.
not on this.
Okay, I come up with 31.
Okay.
$31.
Yeah.
Yeah, 31. You're right. I can't add.
All right. So
31.
the next one I've got, and this is a tough one. Is the dispatch radio upgrade? Is that this year, right? He was asking for this year on that.
Yeah, I had called Mike and he never got back to me, so.
Oh, we can't rate this yet.
No,
Okay, so we're gonna hold.
yeah, we're missing information.
Did we have a quote on that?
Yeah, 3. Well, it was.
Yeah, it was quite expensive.
2022. I mean, it's $2 million across 5 years. So 2022's portion is $396,000.
All right.
Yeah,
And it's that same number all the way through 2026 for a total of 1.98 million.
you know what I don't see here, Joe? If this is a regional thing,
It is.
I don't see this is the total cost, so what's Rutland's share?
Right. That's not provided here. And the other thing is, Harry, at least when we first started our regionalized dispatch service,
Yeah,
like the antennas, a lot of even the office equipment was grant. There was state funding grant available for a lot of that.
How many years is this for?
It's purchase and it's a commitment. It sounds like it's like a 5-year commitment, 2022 through 2026.
and it does say here that the operating equipment that is past end of life by more than 5 years. So I don't see anything else down here. So no, I don't see anything except we know it's past his life expectancy by 5 years.
But we really got to have a talk with Mike, I think, before we can give this any serious consideration, because
Yeah,
this is not just a big nut to crack for Rutland. This is a big nut to crack for every town that's involved. And quite frankly, if the other towns are not on board with committing the funds, it's kind of a moot point for us to even talk about it.
absolutely.
we'd really have to know what the breakdown of how to split it up. Would we be
Yeah.
splitting it up? Is it different towns than the animal
Yes.
ban?
Yes. Yeah,
Same
and
towns are different.
it's different towns.
So we don't even know how it's going to break up.
Right. Well, they do. We don't offhand because it's based on population and it's different towns than the animal control.
Right.
So we need all that information, which is not, I don't see it anywhere.
All right. Need additional info, no action taken.
All right, next one is, this one I think is debatable whether we should be talking about it, but it's the police rugged mobile computer units. The price I have.
Vote on police items. We
Well,
have it in the past.
Well, I think the issue here is not that it's a police item, it's that, well, actually, you know what? Is this even in a request? Because it's not in the binder.
Which are you looking for? What are you looking for?
The rugged mobile units.
No, I don't. I have dispatch control monitor, the end user radio replacement, all 5 communities.
No, that's dispatch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
communication.
the police, I thought the animal control ban was the only actual request from the police department.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, it says purchase new radios, 26,000, but that's not till 25.
Right. Let me just hold on here. It's this. Administrator.
Yeah, I think in the original requests that were given to us, these mobile units were in that, but then when we got the binder from Ron, it was not in that.
Yeah, you know, under the police department, for the thing that Ron gave us, there was nothing there at all.
Not
Yeah.
till 25.
No requests.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
20. No requests for 2022 from him.
Or 3 or 4.
You
Yeah.
met with Nick, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if he met with him because I know he did request. He told me he requested from all departments what they wanted. So this was kind of probably written up somewhere, but it wasn't listed on this thing. Highway administration, water, sewer, use 10 wheel. No, I don't even see it on this request here.
All right, so let's move on from that one because I'm not seeing it in the binder either.
Okay.
The next item I have, here's the breakdown. I'm just trying to cross-reference. The next item I have is the COA pavilion, but I'm not convinced that was in the binder either.
You know what? That one we got a table.
Okay. Why?
Only because the pavilion is going to be an extension of the building itself for, are you talking the whole building? Because what they were talking about was putting down some concrete or dirt and having people meet outside in that area, not the senior center, but the pavilion out back, which will require parking spaces and will require a lot of work. So I don't have anything on it. I don't have any cost on it. I don't have any.
Well, the cost is 55 grand.
Well, that was just a quote.
Right.
But I don't have any particulars. Like you go out and you see, here's what's going to happen. Here's the action. I tried to get a hold of Nancy. And Joe, do you have Nancy's phone number? I can't get it anywhere. Nancy Nichols.
I think I have Lyndon's. I don't know that I have Nancy.
All right.
Mitch, you must have Lyndon's, right?
I have
Yeah,
I have both.
Oh, do you? Because I've been trying to
Yeah,
get
I
her.
think Nancy's number, I think you can get it off the town site, can't you?
No, you can't. Nope, it's not there.
Because I called her in the past. I found it somewhere.
Well, there's a call to the senior center, but I can't reach her directly.
Oh, maybe
Yeah, but
I called there and
Yeah, I
asked.
think that whole Nancy and her staff are working with the COVID appointments. So I think that it's probably increasingly hard to reach her the last couple of weeks because of the sheer number of calls coming in about the vaccination appointments.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been setting them up. They set one up for me. I'm going next week.
Because she has a lot of stuff that I wanted her to come to a Zoom meeting on to talk about. She needs, excuse me, she needs to do the proper paperwork. I wanted to work with her, but I haven't been able to get a hold of her. So, Mitch, what do you have a cell phone for her or what?
Yeah, I could email that to you, Harry. I don't want to get out in a public meeting.
All right.
The big thing was the heating system there was the big issue. And Ron
That's-
told us that
Oh, that was
having,
good. Yeah.
they're having that looked. I can't remember what he said. There's somebody's doing a study for her on
Well,
that building.
Well, yeah, but and I had two things. Number one is that's part of the facility building thing that they're going to come in and do.
Right.
So we don't want to be doing a lot of that. So we can't really judge anything to me until that facility is done, facility grant is done. And two, there is other things that of major importance, like that pavilion for 55. Well, there's no sense in putting on a beautiful pavilion if the building isn't any good.
So
there's
I'm just going to make a suggestion. We probably, there's 3 items for Council on Aging that I think we have to table until we meet with Nancy and get more documentation.
Yeah.
So it's the pavilion, the exterior door, and the van.
Yes. Okay.
This van, by the way, is the one when I said $60,000 earlier for a van. It's this one that costs 60 grand.
Yeah, because she's going to, and that's the other thing. She's going to use it to pick people up in other towns to bring them to our place. So are we going to regionalize this thing? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. So, okay.
All right.
So we're going to table that one, those for now.
So why don't we jump down to library? Let's start with, well, why don't we start with the replacement of the failed unit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's moving up the ladder there in priority.
That might actually, this came up during a select board meeting on Monday where we briefed the community on kind of what's going on with the regional COVID. I think if I go back and revisit those notes, Seth had mentioned that perhaps because that site is going to be used, that we would be able to obtain FEMA money to get that unit done, just to secure the location to make sure that there's working heat and there aren't any issues.
Okay.
Just as an FYI.
Possible FEMA money.
Yeah, that situation is still kind of fluid, but that issue came up specifically in our meeting Monday with the Board of Trustees.
I got something from Carrie.
Is that
Maybe.
would that be just for the heating unit or for where the roof is leaking or?
No, that's just the heating unit.
That would just
Just
be
the heating unit.
Yep.
We have a price on that, Mitch?
Yeah, we've got 20,720. I'm sorry, 20,724, Joe.
Yeah, I think that actually Joe had Weston and Sampson come and look at it. I believe that's who the quote is from.
This is Gervais Mechanical Services.
Okay, then, yeah, somebody else. All right, but yeah, we do have somebody that came out and looked at all that stuff.
And that was 24,000. I don't know why I was thinking it was closer to 50.
Well, she had, on this quote from Gervais, it was 20,724.70. But it was December of 2020, so it's pretty recent.
Right.
Okay.
So maybe we should probably rate it And then when we get to availability of grants, we should probably consider the fact that, you know, we may have to come back and reopen our rating on this, depending on what the outcome of that FEMA opportunity is, Mitch, but
Yeah.
why don't we go ahead and rate it? So the priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, or new service.
I mean, it's,
I would say mandatory.
yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, it's the heating unit, it's dead.
I mean, if you're overtaxing those other units too, that could really compromise, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of mechanical features.
I think it needs to be, absolutely, yeah. Everyone okay with 10?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Priority ranking, very high, high, medium, low.
Very
Sounds
high.
very
I would
high.
say very high.
Expected life.
And also, very high at 10.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I agree with that.
So expected life, the building, I mean, the ones that are on there, what are they? They're close to 20 years old now, right?
So it's probably 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they, the way those run, are they like remote compressors? I mean, like, you could probably get a pretty good lifespan out of those things, I would imagine.
Well, the building, I can never remember what the heck year. I want to say 98 or so was when the building opened. 99 maybe.
Yeah, 99 sounds, I've heard that floated.
So we're over 20 years. So it's going to be a 10.
All right.
Effect on O&M. I don't know that we're going to have much effect on O&M, right?
Right.
That's a 5 then.
Effect on, yeah, it's a 5. Effect on revenue, I don't see any effect on revenue.
No.
So that's a 6. Availability of grants, and we may need to come back and revisit this, but I'm thinking we give it the 5 points for a yes.
Well, I also think too, we haven't really looked, as far as I can tell, because we're not really actively engaged in fundraising for that, you know, some of that stuff. But I mean, I would say that is a good grant project on its own, even if we don't get the FEMA money. I think that if we take a look, there's going to be some opportunities to get something like that funded. But
And someone's going to do the legwork.
I know.
Where would we get it funded? Do you think there's other avenues through the state or something?
I mean, private foundations, the state. I mean, there's a lot of funding for library buildings and for nonprofits, and it's a good project if you had somebody on the staff that could, with that grant writing experience.
Mitch, I just want to make you aware that I can't remember where I saw it. I did see it just today, that Kerry had said something that said, we are in the process of getting the approval to have this done, and I want to move forward with it. So I'm hoping it'll be done shortly. And it's like, it hasn't even come through our committee yet. And she's thinking she's going to move forward on this.
It depends with the heating, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really just depends on, in reality, I think if that's related to what's going on with the COVID vaccinations, we're looking at starting operations, I think, on March 8th. So in reality, if the need was that bad, they would do it as an emergency kind of thing to get that clinic up and running. So I'm not sure. I don't have that email, Harry. I can't speak to whether that.
Yeah, okay. Because I didn't know where she was coming from. I've never experienced that with her before, so I didn't know why she felt she should be moving forward. So she might have had information I wasn't privy to.
Again, it's a fluid situation, and I could make a call tomorrow to see what the status of that is. And
Either way, this is going to get our highest rating this year.
right, I can imagine that it's going to rate pretty highly. So
It's already, even if we don't consider the extra points for a grant, it's going to be the highest rated one we have today.
Okay, just a point of interest.
All right, so we're sitting at 46 on it with the grant.
Yes, that's what I got to. Right.
Okay. All right. Now the next one, the library
Roof.
heating unit structural integrity repairs on the roof.
Well, I mean, you kind of got to rate that high too, if you're going to put something new up there. I would imagine.
What is the unit that they're replacing? Not all the units are on the roof, are they?
No, there's a couple in the basement. One in the-
Is
Yeah,
this
but
one on the roof or one in the basement?
I think the only ones that are not on the roof are the ones associated with the studio area, those Mitsubishi units.
The ductless units.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then this roof is, well, we can rate it. It should, plus it's, yeah. Repair the roof units, 25,000.
All right, so,
Yeah, the structural integrity of the rooftop units is in question.
So-
Simpson.
when we met with Joe, of course, this was before the COVID vaccine distribution center conversation, but in his opinion, repairing the roof structure itself was a higher priority than actually replacing the failed unit.
Yeah, because that's where a lot of the leaking was coming from.
Right.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
right.
So keeping that in mind, let's run through it. Town department priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, new service.
Well, you might say maintenance, but the fact that it's structurally problematic makes it higher than just a maintenance rating.
Right.
We're going to
9.
give it a 10, which would almost be mandatory, or at least very close to a 10.
But I mean, I don't see, if we're going to replace some of the other stuff, it doesn't make sense to not rate this highly too, because it's
Yeah, you're right, Mitch.
going to run into the same issue, you know?
10.
Yeah.
I'd go with 10, yeah.
Any dissenters? Okay. Priority ranking. I guess we're going very high. Do we need to talk about that more? 10.
And
Yeah.
Expected life. I would think this would be 20 or more as well.
which would be
Right.
another 10.
Yeah.
Effect on O&M.
Unchanged.
Expenses of cleaning the place, of water, I don't know. Probably not gonna be much of a change.
Seems unchanged.
Yeah.
5. Effect on revenue. No,
No,
Unchanged. Should be.
that's a 6. And available grants. No.
no.
So I got that as a 41.
41. Those are the highest rated stuff so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 of them.
So just time check. It's 8 o'clock. Do we want to continue this tonight, or do we want to go to our next meeting, Harry?
The only 2 items that we have left, I think, of the library are, well, we got recreation, yeah, and is the exterior painting and the interior carpets.
So do you want to finish library and then?
Yeah, let's just go through those.
Let's
real quick.
finish it.
Yeah.
I think we were going to discuss I have a note that we were going to discuss that HVAC unit jumped into 22, that one of these others might get pushed off to 23.
If you look at priority number 2 or whatever, and 3 or 4, if you look at those, I mean, the exterior painting, 30,000. Does it need to be painted? Yes, because eventually it's going to hurt. Does it have to be done this year, or can it be moved to another year? But she has it under 2022 request.
Yeah. So what happened, Mike, to your point, is in 2023 is when they were looking to replace heating unit number 1.
That's
It's
right.
that item that's moving from 2023 up to 2022.
You might think her lowest priority then could be put off till 23.
Yeah. And the lowest priority, based on the feedback we received from Joe from the 2022 requests, is the carpets.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's rate the painting then.
Okay. Exterior painting, I have 30 grand on that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, new service. It's like maintenance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a 7.
I mean, is it, you know, the paint, a lot of the stuff's peeling, and I'm just wondering how damaged the woodwork would get if we left it unpainted. Like, is that causing more structural issues, or?
Well, you're right, Mitch. The other thing is, should we be painting?
Well, I think it's just the trim and the woodwork, because the rest of it's vinyl sided.
No, it's not.
It's
That
not.
that whole building is clapboard.
It's clapboard.
Yep.
Oh, good. I guess I never
That's,
looked at that.
I actually asked Joe that question when we met with him to get a price, if we could get a price on vinyl siding it.
Right, and
Should we not paint it until the structural repairs and the roof and stuff are done?
well, that's the other thing, but I just don't. I mean, we don't have any quotes. All we have is a figure of 30,000. We have nothing beyond that for 2022, and we really should have some more definite information on that. So I don't know if we can rate that, to be honest with you.
Can we rate it subject to quotes? Like, my only concern is if the paint, if it deteriorates that bad and the clapboard starts getting rotted out, we really should have a conversation about that.
You know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with rating it, providing we get the actual quotes and we know what we're dealing with. And whatever time frame that comes back in, we'll deal with it. But it would be subject to, yeah.
I mean, is some of this subject to that building assessment that Ron is going, the town manager is going to get done? That's not
Right.
too far off.
Right. So I have no problem rating it, but you're right, Mitch. It would be subject to official quotes.
Yeah.
And Joe was going to look into what it would be for vinyl siding.
Yep.
I personally feel it would be a little higher than 30,000.
Oh, I think it would be.
Siding
But,
would be, yeah.
yeah, but
What's the long-term savings to the town?
That's the issue. What's the long-term effect?
I don't know. I mean, painting clapboard is going to be expensive as well. I don't think there's a cheap way out of it.
No.
All right. Well, are we classifying it? Are we rating it?
Well, yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay.
and do it.
All right. So priority classification, mandatory maintenance, improve efficiency, new service.
I mean, I'm between mandatory and maintenance, to be honest with you, just because the structural integrity of the building, you're going to be putting money into it. I don't know.
I'd be willing to go to an 8, but I don't think I'd go any higher than that, Mitch.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
Priority ranking, very high, high, medium, low. Between high and very high. 8.
Maybe another 8.
Another 8.
Boy, that's hard for me because, you know, I compare that to we need a truck to take care of the highways, and how much more important is having the library painted as compared to that in terms of higher. So I don't think I'd go much above high for a rating.
Yeah, I think high is fair.
7 points.
Okay.
Expected life.
It's got to be 10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
When was it painted last?
We talked about that last time, and I don't know that anyone remembers. I can't remember if it's ever been painted, to be honest, Mike.
I can't either, Joe.
I think, realistically, like people that I know that have wood clapboard that usually stain it between every 10 and 13 years. So
Yeah.
that sounds about right. I mean, maybe
So-
stretch it to 15.
11 to 15, that would be, number 3, which would bring it at 5 points.
Okay.
Effect on O&M, no,
No.
unchanged. So that's a 5. Effect on revenue, unchanged, right?
Yeah.
That's a 6.
That's a 6, and then no grants that we're aware of right now.
No.
All right, so I got 31.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
All right, and then we said we're not going to rate carpets.
No, I think we should move that to 2023. talk to her and look at moving that to 2023, because there's no way that's gonna get done in 2022.
Right.
No sense in even rating it. I mean, we can, but it's gonna come in like a nothing, so.
That's fair.
All right, so when we reconvene, I think we have another meeting on the calendar already. So when we reconvene, it looks like we've got to consider not too many.
No, we got rec, really is the last one to look at,
Yeah, we've got the pool, basically the swimming pool stuff, right?
right?
And then we also have, well, what's fire have? Is fire all subsequent years?
The only thing fire had was building with the new building.
Yeah, they're building stuff.
Yeah, and we can't really consider that this year, given everything that's happening with the facility study, right?
Right. Yeah, I think if I remember, he's looking at 2025 or 26 for the building. So, but that's a discussion I think we should have throughout the year with him.
Yeah.
You know,
What about those breathing? Oh, he's got that in 23. Never mind. I was thinking of the compressor units, the compressor for the breathing units.
yeah,
That's a year out. That's 23. I just,
that could be a grant item too. I'm not sure about that. You know what I'm saying?
but he's got that listed in 23 anyways. So,
Yeah, okay.
all right.
No, we got one item, the ladder tower, that's 2022.
For the fire?
Yep.
Hold on a second.
But I think we need to talk with them, don't we? We haven't met with Seth yet.
No, we haven't. You have a ladder tower there? Okay.
Yeah, 1.25 million.
Oh, you're talking about a new ladder, okay.
A ladder truck.
Yeah.
Truck. Yep.
Okay,
And they're expecting grant on that too. And with the towns, if I remember correctly, the town's take would have been like 50 grand or something. And $1 million in a grant was what Seth had mentioned to us when he met with us last year.
yeah, okay, I see it, the tower one replacement. Yeah, so we'll talk to, since it isn't due until 2023. I know he's got, I know
No,
he's down here
he's-
for 2022,
No, he's got the ladder for 2022.
right?
So we'd want to meet with him pretty quick if we're going to consider it.
You know what, I'll just, I'll call him or talk to him about showing up at the next Zoom meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Anita sent out a notice, I don't know if you got it, that she's looking for a final report by the mid of March.
Well, we have that because the report we're going to submit is for the last fiscal year, not this fiscal year,
I
right?
thought we did that last year. Submitted
I
last
don't
year.
remember submitting it.
No, we did. We submitted it. So what does her memo say, Harry? What fiscal year is the annual report for?
She's looking for 2021 fiscal year. report.
2021
I'm
fiscal
sorry,
year.
2020 fiscal year.
Right.
report.
So it's 2020 fiscal year. So that's going to be our report from our, we're currently working on the 2022 report.
Right,
The most recent one we did was the 2021 report. So we need to submit to her that 2020 report, which is basically
Oh, wait a
three.
minute. No, it's last year's report is what she's looking for.
21. Yes.
21.
Okay. But so all I'm saying is that us giving her that report is not dependent upon us finishing this whole process this year, because this is FY 2022.
Oh, okay, gotcha, all right. I thought we sent that to her last year.
We sent her the 2020 report last year.
Okay. All right, so we gotta work on that then. All right.
Something else that should be on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, that's definitely has to be on there. Okay, so let me make a note here to contact Seth for our next Zoom meeting. All right. Okay. All right. And do we want Oh, yeah, I want Nancy too. We need to get some clarification from her. All right. And was there anything else that we were missing on? And I really should have Kerry or somebody do an official form for us on those two items we just rated. For her. Okay. Anything else? I am going to suggest that normally we would make a motion on the ratings of all these for our recommendations, but since we still have a couple more to do, I'd like to postpone that particular motion until the next meeting when we have everything finalized. Is that agreeable to everybody?
Yeah, I'll send out what we have so far, Harry, just so everyone can kind of give it a look and have the document for when we meet, whenever it is, 2 weeks from now.
Okay, sounds good. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
All right, all right. Any other old business to take care of? None? Any new business for the floor? Hearing none, there were no requirements for any votes tonight, so hearing that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor? Voice vote, please.
Mike Ferguson, aye.
Gracie, aye.
Becker, aye.
Aye.
Ecker and Mitch, aye. Harry Seckman, aye. Okay, meeting adjourned at, what time do we have here? 8:13.